Hello everyone, I am Adam. Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary. So I'm not exactly on the floor, but I will be in a minute when I start showing you some cards. And quick announcement, this will probably be the last showing of my glorious Christmas tree lamp. I will probably put it away until after Thanksgiving. I know some of you will be sad, but hopefully absence will make the heart grow fonder. And hopefully I will be honored by you checking out my channel. Maybe you just won't watch it all until after Thanksgiving and the Christmas tree light comes back. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little warning there for those of you who have, really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate that. And also, DK's cardboard, or DK cardboard, Doug, he has sent me a care package, and so we're going to look at that at the end of this video and see what he sent my way. I guess care package or birthday gift, or both, because I am 60 years old now. I've hit the big 6-0, which is, wow, something else. I mean, of course, that's what happens if you're blessed to live long enough, but, it's still kind of like, wow. A little bit surreal, you might say. So how do I feel? Well, I feel good. My students tell me, I teach math, my students say, you don't look anything like 60, but, well, that's because they haven't got their grades yet. Once they get their grades, they'll say, man, you age fast. Anyway, I'm hoping to live this next decade better than the last one by relying on a higher power, being more thoughtful of others. And hey, I'll make mistakes at times. There'll be times when I'm inconsiderate or don't, recognize something that I should recognize. That's part of the human condition. I'm not making excuses for it, but all of us fall short in various ways. But I hope, to live this next decade better than the last one in terms of how I can serve others. You're probably like, yeah, Adam, serve me. Send me your dream cards. Speaking of which, I'd like to talk to you for a minute and then show you some examples, or maybe a few minutes, about the distinction between Grail card, dream card, and none of the above. So I know early on, as I got into vintage baseball cards, I would get these cards that I just loved, and I would call them Grail cards. And Theo did a video at some point, which was all in good fun, with some humor about how I'm calling everything a Grail card and calling me out and saying, no, Adam, all of these cards cannot be Grail cards. And I actually think he's right. I think that within the hobby, people generally understand a Grail card, you can probably just have one. Now, it can be different for each collector, but it is the Grail card. It's typically the card that would be most meaningful to you, maybe the one card you would keep if you had that card plus other cards, and for some reason could only keep one card. It's generally something that's hard to obtain for the collector, either because it's expensive or because it's rare and so it's hard to find, or it could be it's not super rare, but it might be hard for the collector to find one in the condition that they're looking for. Or maybe it's tough to find with a tab, for example. Comes with a tab, and maybe it's pretty scarce with a tab. So that could be, part of what makes it a Grail card for a collector. So it's going to vary, of course. I mean, as far as price goes, for one collector, a $100 card could be their Grail card. That could really be pushing their budget. For another, maybe it's a $1,000 card. Price is not the only factor, but usually the cost is significant relative to the collector's budget. Otherwise, they could just go right out there and grab it if it were not cost prohibitive and if it were, easy to get, available. Now, what about a dream card? I think in the past, these cards that I were calling Grail cards were dream cards. So I don't think there's any established kind of hobby culture around dream cards, but I'll tell you what I think of in terms of dream cards. So dream cards are cards that maybe they're in contention to be your Grail card, or maybe they're kind of that next tier below your Grail card. They're generally tough to get as well, But you can have lots of dream cards. These are the cards where some collectors will, over time, pare their collection down just to their dream cards. Maybe they don't want such a big collection anymore, and maybe they just want to have those cards that are the most meaningful to them. So typically the dream cards, you dream about owning them. So they're not, super easy to get. You have to save for a while, could be a few months or more. Or either you have to save and they're tough to get, or they're just tough to get, so maybe they don't cost that much relative to your budget, but you have to wait a few years before one comes along, or wait a few years until one comes along and you are happy with its condition or its grade. And so, it takes some planning, or it takes some waiting, or it takes some saving to get those dream cards. And then, of course, none of the above are cards that do not fall into the Grail card category or the Dream cards category, but you can still really love them. They just don't fall into one of those categories. They're generally easier to get, or even if they're tough to get, they just don't make your Dream card status, and certainly not your Grail card status. So, would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Without further ado, I'm going to turn this camera around and give you at least one example as far as Grail card at this point in my collection, show you a few dream cards, and then one that is none of the above. And then at the end, we will open Doug's package. And by the way, I will put a link to his channel in case any of you have not checked it out. To know Doug is to love Doug. And I love Doug. So yeah, let me turn this camera around and let's look at some examples, my friends. This is where I get on the floor. Okay, so starting on the left, notice this 59 Fleer Ted Williams. Now, Doug and I are clubbies on this one. I know he has this card in the same grade. I absolutely love this card. This is from the 59 Fleer Ted Williams set, but it's Ted in a minor league uniform with the San Diego, San Diego Padres of the Pacific Coast League. So this is an example of none of the above, because this was not a card that was too hard to obtain. Now, I suppose maybe a little bit tougher in an 8, but if you're going to go ungraded or with a little bit of wear, whatever, not a tough card to find. So probably for most collectors, this would not be a dream card or a Grail card, but wow, I think this is such a stunning card. All right. Now, I tell you what, I've got, several cards in my collection right now that I would give some thought to them possibly being my Grail card. But when push comes to shove, this is my Grail card right here. The 52 Topps number 261 Willie Mays. I know I've shared this story before, but I got this in a PSA Authentic. It did not say Authentic Altered. It said Authentic at the 2022 National, and I had it for quite some time, and then crossed it over to SGC, and it came back at 2.5. And it is just really, really nice. So that's my Grail card. Is it possible then, if I can only have one Grail card, that I could get something down the road that would supplant that as the Grail? I mean, what if I add the 52 Topps Mickey Mantle? I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, that's an iconic card for sure, but I don't know, that Willie Mays may still be my Grail card. I didn't bring it out, but my 53 Topps Willie Mays, that's right up there too. I mean, that's just right up there. In a little bit, I'll show you another card that is right up there. Okay, so on the far left, the Ted Williams from 59 Fleer, that is, neither a dream card nor a Grail card. The Willie Mays, that's my Grail card at this point. Now let's go over here. We got the Ted Williams. By the way, these two 1954 Topps Ted Williams. Doug and I are clubbies on those two. So, there was a little bit of method to my madness here. The seller I bought this from, it was a buy it now, but I negotiated with him. He said he had this as an 8 OC older holder, And then he sent it, in to get a straight grade, came back a 5. And that wouldn't surprise me because this card is so incredibly sharp. So I consider this a dream card. It was a bit on the spendy side. And hey, this is Teddy Ballgame, his first, Topps issue. Well, this is number 250. So I guess you could say number 1. The bookend cards, the last card in the set, the first card in the set. So you could say number 1 is his first top issue. This one's kind of borderline on being a dream card. Just, based on price is not the only consideration, but price I paid. But it's Teddy Ballgame. It's his first Topps card. So I'm going to go ahead and I put this in the dream card category. And of course, hey, obviously that's my call. So yeah, just love this card as well. A bit off center, however, really nice. Really nice, I think. Sharp, nice color, clean. All right, so summary so far. On the far left, not a dream card or Grail card, but then Willie Mays, my Grail. And then on the right, from 1954, 4 Topps, 2 dream cards. Now this one I've had for a while. This 48-49 Leaf. I mean, this is Grail contention for me right here. Definitely a dream card, but yeah, this contends with my 52 Willie Mays as, to potentially be a Grail, but I'm just going to call it a dream card. And, oh man, I love this card so much. I think I might do a video at some point showing all of my dream cards. And also, I would say this. I call the Grail a dream card as well, although, of course, it gets Grail card status. Okay, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of my video, but that I have a new dream card. Well, if I forgot to mention it, I'm mentioning it now. I have a new dream card. It just came in the mail today. Tell you what, this thing could be in contention for Grail as well. It's I'm teasing a little bit here. It's an SGC2. It's not a perfect card by any means. It's got its issues, but you know what? I am in love, my hubby. Friends, I am in love. All right, here we go. Are you ready? My new dream card that just came in the mail today. Yeah, wow, what a way to celebrate turning 60 recently. The 1941 Playball, Ted Williams. And of course, we know what a season this was for Ted Williams. This is a card that's plagued by toning, centering, and color issues. So what do I have to say about this? Well, it's got a little toning, but you know what? I think it almost enhances, or at least it doesn't detract from eye appeal in my mind. I guess the color could be stronger, but it's not bad. I've seen, quite a few where there's really not much. The orange background is pretty bleak. I've seen some like that for sure. Centering, wow. I don't know, Dylan, what do you think? I know this is a card you'll love when you see this. I'm calling that centering an 88 on your scale to 100. Now, that's just my call, but you give me your call. We're going to go with your call. I tell you what, this is a tough card to find centered. This one's really, not perfectly centered, but really nicely centered. Let me give you a look at the back here. It's got strong ink on the back, which I personally like. So what's going on that brings this down to a 2? Well, little bits of corner wear. Of course, I'm not a professional grader. We always say that, but little bits of corner wear, little toning on the edges, the corners. Right here by my thumb, there's just kind of a little pinch. It's like pretty good pinch in the card. I don't know if that maybe happened from the factory because you can kind of see the 2 sort of pinches and where they're located. I guess, could it have been a rubber band? Maybe. So maybe rubber band. But you know what? That doesn't bother me a bit. I'm like, wow. I am so stoked to have this card. Wow, wow, wow. Now, it says on the back, copyright 1941. And I have heard, this is a 72 card set, and this is number 14. So 72 cards, as far as, and pre-war, of course, 1941. In fact, right before the war. I have heard that cards 1 through 48, some of them, they're printed either with the 1941 or just blank, no date. And then cards 49 to 72, they don't show 1941. So I have heard that cards 49 to 72 were printed in 1942, or at least that's the theory. And cards 1 through 48, if they don't have the copyright date of 1941, the theory is they were printed in 1942. The reason that's significant for me is I really wanted a Teddy Ball game printed in 1941, a 1941 Playball printed in 1941, not 1942, because that was, of course, his epic year where he could have sat out and preserved his 400 average, but then I think on the last day he played in a doubleheader. I think he hit like 6 for 8 or something and raised his average to 406. So yeah, I wanted one with a 41 copyright date. I haven't seen any Ted Williams cards from this set, though, without the 41 copyright date. But anyway, apparently they're out there, so I don't know. I just know this card is totally awesome. Let's move the Grail. The Grail's totally awesome, but it kind of makes sense to get 4. Look at those 4 Teddy Ball game dream cards. All right. I know that I decided to go Teddy Ball game because this is probably a Yankee contributor that I got from my friend Doug. But I know that Doug's a big fan of Ted Williams, among other players, and I know that, he and I are clubbies on these 54 Topps Ted Williams, and I know he would be happy to someday add the 41 Playball or the 48, 49 Leaf Ted Williams to his collection. So I thought I'd honor my friend Doug by showing these. Plus, I just got the dream card, so hey, seems like a good time to show it. All right, now we're on to, here we go. There is less desirable card in here. So let's start with the less desirable card. Okay, let's see what we have in here. Oh, look at this. Look at that. That's what I look like now that I'm 60. That is one cool chicken or rooster, Doug. Yeah. Yo, Adrock, that's from I did an Eddie Lopat rap video some time ago, and well, hey, if you go back and find it, you can decide if it's horrible or decent or good. Happy birthday to someone who's clucking awesome. We don't know if this is a chicken, a frog, Chuck Norris. We'll never know. All of this to say happy birthday, my good friend, Doug. That is awesome. Thank you, Doug. Hey, let's just kind of set that. I don't know if we'll be able to see it really well, but what the heck, I'll kind of put it in the background back there. Sweet. Yeah, we'll move it back a little bit more so we can kind of see it. Nice. All right, now here, let's see what's in here. Man, this is, look at this. I was going to say I should have brought some scissors with me. See, I'm less prepared than I should have been. This is a lot, Doug. You've given me too much here, my friend. Got some rubber bands, very well packed. Okay, spacer. Oh, look at this. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. This side up. Oh, I think I might have messed things up. We'll see. Remember when you were but a wee fledgling prospect. Let's see what we have here. Oh, look at this. The Adam Hall prospect card. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, wow, there's a prospect out there with my name, and this is pretty sweet. It's numbered out of 299. It's got all sorts of, sparkling going on. It's autographed prospect card. Wow. Well, this guy's, I tell you what, this guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame someday. Thank you. Wow. Let's see. And then you became a Yankee contributor who is also a big deal in your own right, an OPS monster, and they called you King Kong, apparently. And then there's a URL there for me to check out. Cool. Let's see. Oh, wow, Doug, this is beautiful. To be open with you, I do have this card. I've got it in like an SGC4, but this one is just gorgeous. So, I'm going to have two and be very honored to have two. And this guy was really an awesome Yankee contributor. This is so beautiful. Actually, I think this one's nicer than I love that little bit of toning. Hey, you picked out one that's nicer than mine. Well, now I have two, and I am, really happy to have two. We're going to cover up Mr. Williams here. That might be sacrilegious. I don't know. Don't fall over on me. Oh! I'm pushing it there. Or Keller's trying to push Ted Williams out of the way. All right, now let's see what we have here. And now you're a 60 All-Star. Whoa, Nelly. Well done here. I can tell where you're going with this, Doug. Let's see if I can get this one out. Oh, really well done. Look at that. That is a beauty. That is a 60 Topps Nelly Fox All-Star. Look at this. Doug, you nailed it. I'm turning 60 here, and I love that big 6-0. Whoa. I love that big 6-0 on the Nelly Fox card. That's my first Nelly Fox card. I love the 60 All-Star set. The prospect card is so honoring, and then the Keller. I mean, you went above and beyond, my friend. Above and beyond. So generous, so thoughtful. I may be ad rock, but you rock, my friend. Wow. All right. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this and show you the cards that are up here and get some music going. Thank you, Doug, and thank you, everyone, for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary. Take care, my friends.